Hi guys, this is Jeff Gamble from Indianapolis, Indiana. And real quick, I wanted to let you know that I'm actually working with Dwight Fortune. I've actually known Dwight for over 10 years, and I brought a project to him, and he was like, yeah, this totally makes sense. Being that he has a background in real estate, and right now he's launching his training company would be the best way to put it. Training, coaching, speaking. He's just authored a book, which I was kind of excited to be one of the first people to actually look at and read and go over the cover. And we've talked, extensively over the last basically 10 years about different business projects and different things. And when I brought this to him, he's like, yeah, I know a lot of people who need this help. It makes sense. And what we actually do is credit repair. And real quick, we just need a huge favor. We actually want to share with you what we're doing. So if you happen to come across the right person, you can refer them to us. So let me give you my background on why credit kind of makes so much sense to me. I basically made every financial mistake you could make growing up. At 19, I ended up getting married while I was in college, and then I decided to go self-employed and quit college, which my mom's a school teacher and my dad's a college professor, so you can imagine that conversation did not go well at all. And basically what they feared is exactly what happened. Before I had insurance, I went to the doctor sick, and then I went back to the doctor sick, and then I went back to the doctor again sick, and then they sent me to a specialist, and the specialist came back and said, look, we've got really bad news, you have cancer, which led to a year's worth of treatment, 2 surgeries, chemotherapy. It's okay, I made it, but I had no insurance, so I ended up owing all of that money, almost $250,000, which is not good. From that point, I decided I wasn't going to file bankruptcy. I wasn't going to throw in the towel. I was going to pay it off. And I looked for the way to make the most money. And what I found the way to make the most money was in real estate. So I decided, hey, I'll start buying and flipping homes. I'll start selling real estate. So that's what I did. In a 36-month period of time, I ended up buying and flipping 18 homes here in Indianapolis, wholesaling, contract buying, subject to those types of things. But was able to take them on, did very, very well. Ended up building my real estate company to 15 different agents. And things looked amazing until 2007 and 8 happened. Unfortunately, at that point, I had a lot of debt, had a huge overhead, $27,000 a month overhead before I was able to get to zero and start making money. And I woke up and, all of a sudden banks started closing and mortgage companies started closing. And then I found out one of the builders that I had 9 transactions with was filing bankruptcy and going under as well. So I ended up losing 9 transactions all at once, which was the equivalent of about $70,000 in commissions. And it just kind of spiraled from there. Lost the 4-bedroom house, 2-car garage, lost the 2 cars, lost the credit cards, couldn't pay the utility bills, couldn't even get my cell phone on, which was kind of interesting because I was in the real estate business. That's how I talk to people. With my last $1,000, I ended up buying a $600 truck cash. And if you think that a $600 truck looks bad, it looked worse than the $600. It had no brakes. It was a 4-on-the-floor manual. You actually had to put it in gear to get it from rolling past you. I actually forgot to do that one time, and at a real estate appointment I had to chase my truck, which doesn't make you a very good salesperson when you're selling houses. But that's beside the point. Getting back to the story, I ended up in front of an attorney in 2008, and he said basically, you owe almost $3 million, and there is no payment plan for $3 million, but you do have these 3 choices. Choice number 1, you can get on a plane somewhere we can't find you. And that sounded really, really good at that point, but I didn't choose that. Choice number 2, you can win the lottery, and you might need to win it more than once because obviously at $3 million, if you even win $1 million, you're not even halfway there. Choice number 3 is to file bankruptcy Chapter 7, wipe all this out, and start over again. And unfortunately, that's what I had to do. And at that point, when the bankruptcy finally discharged, I ended up pulling my credit report the day out of discharge. And it was a 400, 400, 50 something, 501, 502. It was horrible. But what I did is I put together a 6-step system to put myself back together. I ran through those 6 steps, and 7 months later, I had my same friend who pulled my credit a day out of bankruptcy. He pulled it 7 months later, and my scores had jumped to a 691, just over 700, and a 729. From that point on, everybody's asked me, well, how did you do that? I want that plan. I want to figure it out. Now, I did have some knowledge that other people don't have. I did read the 1971 Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is the ultimate guide to going to sleep forever. It's horrible to read, but what I learned out of that is there's really two things to credit. One is all the information has to be accurate, and the second thing is the process in which somebody puts something on your credit has to be followed exactly. And here's the problem: 80% of the time that doesn't happen. So my personal story is for the last couple years, I've helped hundreds of people through the process of putting their credit back together. And in December of 2017, two friends of mine, James Johnson and Jeffrey Johnson, brought a company to me and said, hey, look, we found this company that does automated credit repair. And I'm like, yeah, I'm skeptical. I've heard that before. I've probably heard of them. What's the name? And he's like, well, the name of the company is FES. It stands for Financial Education Services. And what they do is credit is the main thing that they do, but they've been doing it for 14 years. They've been doing it out of Farmington Hills, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit. And the two guys who started the company, one of them has like a financial background and the other one's a programmer. So they sat down and actually wrote kind of like a program to figure out what's on there and what needs to be disputed in what order. But what they've done is they've partnershiped with a bunch of other services concerning credit and financial services and packaged it together into one membership. And those services include credit repair, that's number one. Number two is a credit builder program showing you how to get credit and increase your scores. 3, credit attorneys who help out with litigation and payment plans. 4, smart credit, which is like Credit Karma. It gives you all 3 scores and updates. 5 is LifeLock. A lot of people know who that is. LifeLock is #1 identity theft program in America. Number 6 is a program called Debt Zero, which if you're familiar with Dave Ramsey, it's basically the snowball technique of how to get out of debt the fastest way possible. 7 is My Care Plan. It gives wills and testament and trust, so that way you can have that letter and stuff done just in case the inevitable happens. Number 8 is Financial Lockbox. Exactly what it sounds like. You're able to take all of your financials, all of the important documents in your life, upload them to one place with a passcode and a beneficiary, and you can press a button and get all that back. Number 9, 10, and 11 are all savings plans. We've got a savings plan for travel, we've got a savings plan for shopping, and we have a savings plan for prescriptions, 15 to 80% off of prescriptions. So that whole package put together is called the Protection Plan membership, and it's offered at $89 a month. So it's $89 a month to month, and there's a one-time $99 startup fee. So a person would pay $188 their first month to start this program, and then $89 a month until they get fixed and get to where they need to go. It takes approximately 40 to 45 days to get back on track. Meaning for the process to start, for your scores to start changing. And what I've found through doing credit over years is the average person gets to where they need to be in somewhere between 3 to 6 months. Only about 10% of people need longer than that to put their credit back together. But it's month to month, so when a person gets to where they need to go, they just call the company and they're good. Now, I was skeptical. I had to actually physically see it work, so I signed up as a rep because I believed in my friends and I was friends with them. I ended up fixing my own credit using this. I signed up in mid-December. Mid-December, I opened the program. I got started with it. I clicked everything I was supposed to click. A package came in the mail with everything already printed to the 3 bureaus. I put them in envelopes. I put a stamp on it. I mailed it out. The result was about 45 days later, the end of January, I got a message on my phone that says your credit score has now increased 41 points. Now, I had good credit. There were only 3 things that it found that they said if we remove these 3 things, they're potentially negative and potentially could increase your score. Well, my score increased 41 points in the first 40-ish to 45 days. But here's what I was impressed with. Not that it worked, but it was automated. I didn't have to talk with anybody. I didn't have to do anything. At that point, I became very interested in the opportunity because I know that 1/3 of people have a credit score under 620 in America. And if you have a credit score under 620, somebody might not have told you this, but that's not good. In fact, it's like having a D or below grade. Some people, about another 1/3 of America, has a score between 720 and 620, which is better, but that's a passing grade. It's basically having a B plus down to a C minus credit score, and that's 720 to 621. Only about 1/3 of America has a credit score above 720, which is where an A minus starts. So I was like, this opportunity makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of people who need this. And they said, well, there's three kinds of people we're looking for. One is an inside sales rep, somebody who actually markets this to people who need their credit score put back together. That's number one. Number two is we're looking for corporate accounts, real estate companies, mortgage companies, auto dealerships, financial planners, loan modification places. We can partnership with these people and help them put their credit back together. And three, we're looking for recruiter trainers. That's somebody who might want to work part-time and help us build the sales force. That's somebody who helps us recruit and train the people who are going out and putting people's credit back on track. We don't physically put people's credit back on track. We just lead them to the information that does it for them. Corporate takes care of all of the training, all of the customer service, all the know-how. All we do is expand the program and teach people where to go to sign up. So with that, we appreciate you hearing us out, what we do, how we do it. Get back with Dwight if you have some information on the product, if you need it. But like I said in the beginning, the reason we wanted you to know is so that you can help us refer us to the right people. So if you know somebody who needs their credit fixed, if you know somebody who's looking for something part-time from home, if you know somebody who has a leadership management background or has been involved in direct sales in some way, we'd love to talk to them and put them in touch with what we do and see if it'd be a good fit for them. So appreciate it. Thanks for your time.